maneh kabeh ngayakeun pangajian jigaki.
This woman named Sika goes against the principles of the Almighty Allah. She has a shaman perform a ritual for her, pleading with her ancestors to grant her wishes. As a condition, Sika must vow to serve the other party until death, except for herself, or any stronger power. No one is allowed to break the vow. If she violates the vow, Sika will bear all consequences. Many years have passed. Sika lives with her 3 children. She also runs a restaurant to make a living. In the morning, her eldest daughter Zayoana takes her younger brother Dodi to class. Her eldest son Danny has just returned home. Sika is very unhappy about this. Danny has been idle for the past 2 years, insisting on learning motorcycle repair, refusing to study. Sika no longer wants to support Danny. She kicks her eldest son out of the house to prevent him from corrupting his younger siblings. Danny replies, "I will prove to you that, even without your help, I can succeed." Another year has passed. Danny has found a job at a repair shop. He indeed has a talent for this. He is valued highly by his boss. Although the eldest son is gradually getting on track, the eldest daughter Shauna has started dating early. That night, she is busy texting her boyfriend Brown. Dodi comes over to tell Shauna that he wants some water. The boy is too scared to go downstairs alone, but his sister ignores him at this moment. Dodi gathers his courage to get some water. He saw a shadow in the kitchen. In the blink of an eye, that strange woman rushed to Dodi's side. Frightened, he quickly runs back to his sister. Shauna goes downstairs to help her brother get water. The next day, she goes to deliver the school notice to her mother. Sika saw that the person delivering her daughter is not only riding a motorcycle, but also isn't wearing a school uniform. She warned Shauna, "Be careful with your friends. Don't take the same wrong path as your brother." Then she took the notice, only to find it's a late payment notice for her daughter. In the past 3 months, the restaurant's business has become very bleak. Some people even cover their noses when passing by the entrance. Sika and the staff are unaware that their tidy shop looks perpetually dirty to outsiders. It always appears filthy in others' eyes. The staff brings in an acquaintance. They successfully sell the first bento of the day. A customer kindly reminds Sika, "You should really fix up the outside of your restaurant." Sika glanced at the altar. The previous customer suddenly turns back, saying that the food they bought has gone bad. How could food that was just made this morning spoil? Sika feels that something is off, so she decided to ask the shaman about it. Just as she reached the door, she noticed a funeral being held nearby. Upon inquiry, she learned that the shaman has died. It is said that she screamed incessantly before her death, and even scratched her own face. Sika goes in for a last look at the body. Suddenly, the shaman on the ground opens her eyes, as if she is still breathing. Sika wants to call someone over, but no one responds. She reached out to close the deceased's eyes. The shaman spits out a mouthful of blood, covering Sika's eyes. She rushed outside to wash her face. At home, Dodi sits in the living room, watching a horror movie. He heard someone knocking at the door. As he goes to check, he trips over a toy. At this moment, a woman in black pushes open the door. Dodi cannot see clearly. He puts on his glasses. The shadow he just saw suddenly transforms into his mother. Sika ignored her son and walks back to her room. Dodi wants to talk to his mother, but she roughly shoves him away. Dodi feels uneasy. He goes to tell his sister. The two of them head downstairs to check on their mother. As they reach the first floor, someone knocks on the door. Shauna opened the door, and it's Aunt Hua from the restaurant, accompanying Sika back home. Shauna scolds her brother. "What's wrong with you? Didn't mom just get home?" In the evening, Sika suddenly wakes up. The radio on the table makes a sound. She walks over to turn it off. As a result, the lights go out as well. Then the closet on one side opens by itself. A gaunt woman crawls out from inside. She lifts Sika into the air. The next moment, the woman wakes up from the bed. It's a dream within a dream. The next morning, Sika goes to school first. She wants to request to delay her tuition payment by a month. The teacher informs her that the fees were paid last night. Sika takes a look and sees her eldest son Danny's signature. Not only does she not thank him, but she calls Danny to warn him. She suspects that her son's earnings are not clean. After hanging up, Sika prepares to return to the restaurant.
Bu Sekar, kenapa warungnya tutup terus? Buka, Bu.
In fact, the restaurant is not only open. Aunt Hua is bustling about, hardly stopping. Sika rushes back to the restaurant. For the first time, she saw the scene through outsiders' eyes. The entire restaurant emits a foul stench. There is garbage and dead mice at the door. After Sika walks in, she saw the restaurant full of customers. However, each one is a corpse. They chew on rotten food mechanically. Aunt Hua comes over with a handful of leaves, saying, "Look, we made so much money today." Realizing the problem, she seeks advice from a new shaman. The shaman holds grapefruit leaves and taps Sika 3 times with them, then silently recites a spell. In the next moment, Sika transforms into a different form. It turned out that a malevolent spirit named Wenji is hiding within Sika's body. With the shaman's abilities, he cannot expel it. Previously, Sika made a deal with the spirit, but did not provide offerings in time, because the female shaman who served her has died. If she doesn't quickly expel it, the spirit will ruin Sika's family. However, the shaman is powerless, and advised her to find someone more powerful. Sika arrived at a room in the forest. It is said that there is a powerful female shaman inside. Sika sees a woman flash by. She walks to the door and asks if anyone is there. Hearing no response, she is about to leave, when the door behind her opens on its own. Sika walks in to check. A shadow quietly approaches from behind. In the deep of night, Aunt Hua takes Sika home. She steps inside the house. Her perceptive younger son noticed a shadow following behind his mother. The eerie atmosphere makes Xiaona feel something is off. She walks to the bathroom door and finds her mother pouring hot water over her head. Her face and arms are covered in blisters. Xiaona asks Dodi to get a towel. The shadow grabs the towel and won't let go. It disappears only when Xiaona comes out. The two hurriedly help their mother back to her room to rest. Sika suddenly spits out blood. Xiaona quickly calls her brother, but he is engaged in evening prayers and doesn't notice the phone ringing. At this critical moment, Dodi is also entranced, lying in bed and twitching uncontrollably. Flustered, Xiaona doesn't know what to do. Outside, lightning flashes and thunder roars. The room plunges into darkness, and the evil spirit stands at the door, coldly staring at them. At this moment, the brother returns the call. Xiaona hurriedly said that their mother is spitting blood. Dodi is having a seizure. Danny tells his sister to quickly find Aunt Hua. He will return home immediately. Soon after, the three meet at the door. They go back together to check on Sika's condition. To their surprise, the person in the bedroom is gone. Strange noises come from the bathroom instead.
Dodi na panas, kudu di mandian.
Now their mother's condition is too unstable. Danny plans to move back in. He asks Xiaona to keep an eye on their mother, and goes out to buy some breakfast. Brown suddenly shows up at their door. A few days ago, he tried to assault Xiaona but failed, so he came to apologize. He begs for forgiveness, but Xiaona is a principled girl. She directly tells Brown, "We're done for. Don't come looking for me again." Brown persists and tries to harm Xiaona. Fortunately, Danny returns just in time with groceries. He knocked Brown down and warns him, "Don't bother Xiaona again." In the evening, Sika finally starts to regain some strength. She finally agreed to apologize to her eldest son. Then she said that, before her husband passed away, she promised him that she would take good care of their 3 children. But the burden of life is just too heavy. Sika has no choice but to seek help from the shaman to make the restaurant business thrive and provide better living conditions for the kids. Sika wants Danny to go to college, hoping her son will achieve something great and not end up like her with little success. Hearing their mother's heartfelt words, all 3 can't help but shed tears. Just then, the door creaks open. Dodi saw the evil spirit again. He told his brother that there is someone outside. Danny goes out to check upon hearing this, but the next second, he finds himself locked out of the bedroom. Immediately after, Sika on the bed begins to go insane. She pushed Xiaona aside and started to rage. Sika feels her body burning up, as if she might burn someone alive. She crashed into the glass to relieve the pain. Danny forcefully breaks open the door. His mother is holding glass and has cut her arm. Then she tries to attack the 2 kids. Danny pulls his brother and sister out of the bedroom. Then he locks the door behind them. The next morning, they finally dare to open the door. Sika sits against the wall, moaning constantly. The children help her tend to her wounds. They prepare to pray for their mother in the room. Unexpectedly, Sika suddenly sits up and shouts, "Feed me, I'm going to starve." Xiaona finds a piece of rope and, with her brother, ties up Sika. In the evening, Danny calls some followers over. Everyone gathers around Sika to chant prayers.
Gunana maneh kabeh ngayakeun pangajian jigaki.
Danny tells his brother and sister to wait in the bedroom. The others, ignoring the danger, continue to chant. The leading follower is lifted into the air and crashes against the wall. He is pierced through by a clothes hanger. The crowd carries him away for medical help. The three siblings stay awake in the living room all night. They listen to their mother wailing in the bedroom. Aunt Hua calls, saying she found someone named Bacha, who might be able to help Sika. I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning, to go to his house together. Just after Aunt Hua hangs up, she is brutally killed by the evil spirit. The next day, Danny does not wait for Aunt Hua, and takes his friends to her house. They learn that Aunt Hua has died. Someone finds a note in her pocket, with Bacha's address written on it. Danny returns home to carry his mother into the car, and heads with his brother and sister to Warong village. However, Bacha's address is too remote, and they walk until evening without arriving. As it approaches the time for the evening rites, they find a place to stop and pray. The youngest son Dodi turns to sneak a look at his mother. He saw the evil spirit crouching in front of Sika. Since the adults never believe him, Dodi can only pretend not to see. The Sika on the stretcher is gone. Danny tells Xiaona and Dodi to wait in place. He and his companions split up to search. The two young men quickly spot Sika in the woods, but she has a fierce look in her eyes, clearly having lost her sanity. Sika tackled a man and stabbed him in the neck. The other young man also falls victim to her. Danny and his friend Mont heard the screams. When they run over, they only see the bodies on the ground. As Danny is filled with sorrow, Sika quietly abducts Mont. Danny called out his friend's name loudly, but discovered Mont nearby. At this moment, Sika returned to Xiaona and Dodi's side, chasing the two children like a madwoman. Dodi accidentally falls down. Sika rushed forward and grabbed his ankle. Xiaona quickly grabbed her brother's hand. Neither of them is willing to let go. Dodi can only cry out loudly. Danny returned just in time to pull Sika away. He is about to be choked to death by his own mother. A man in white came over and knocked Sika unconscious. As expected, he is the one known as Bacha. They carry Sika into the room. Bacha states, "Your mother's body has already been possessed by an evil spirit." He poured holy water into the palms of the three. As long as they smear the water on their faces while chanting, they will be able to see the evil spirit. The three siblings are indeed startled. According to Bacha's explanation, making a deal with an evil spirit is a cursed act. It will be loathed by the Almighty. They need to extract the cursed object from Sika's body in order to truly drive away the evil spirit. Bacha instructs Danny to find a coconut tree that bears only one fruit, and pick the tender fruit from it. Then, go to the shaman's grave, who cast the curse on Sika, to collect a cup of soil from the grave. Time is of the essence. Danny bids farewell to his family, and sets off immediately. He rushes overnight to the village of the shaman Amber, and finds Amber's grave in the cemetery to collect soil. As he lifts the soil, he saw maggots everywhere. Immediately after, a group of mummified corpses surrounds Danny completely. He quickly pours holy water on the grave and prays. After a great effort, he dispels the hallucinations. Danny hastily drives away. But where can he go to? Find the coconut tree with only one fruit? Just then, Sika's phantom appeared, pointing Danny in the right direction. On the other side, the evil spirit begins its final struggle, attempting to attack Bacha. It performs various complicated moves. Bacha draws his dagger, preparing for the confrontation. He is still bitten by the ferocious evil spirit. He struggles to throw it off. Then he approached to check on Sika's condition. The evil spirit suddenly lunges and knocks Bacha down. It uses all its strength to bite the shaman. Then it picked up a knife and approached Xiaona and the others. At this critical moment, Dodi shouts, "Mom!" A mother's love temporarily helps Sika regain control of her body. But the spirit's power is not to be underestimated. Sika is about to lose control again. Fortunately, Danny arrived just in time, and hands the grave soil and coconut to Bacha. They manage to subdue Sika, using coconut water to clean her body. Thanks to the children, Sika finally finds peace. The film ends here. Behind Indonesian films that worship ghosts and spirits, there are always various touching reasons. A mother trades with demons to support her children. She traded with demons, but unfortunately, it brings disaster to the whole family. The Exorcist truly pioneered this genre of films. Even though this film is set in an Islamic context, the exorcism procedures and the manifestations of possession are deeply influenced by The Exorcist. Overall, it can be considered a standard Indonesian religious horror film. If you enjoy my channel, please give me a subscribe.